So what would you say the best nutrition is for having the sharpest mind throughout the day?
Man, could start in so many different directions. There's so many different places to take it. But I would say for one, let's talk about what you should probably be minimizing in your diet. And I think there is a burgeoning body of evidence showing how ultra processed foods are not good from the standpoint of cognitive performance, of long term brain health. And these are the foods that typically line our supermarket aisles. You definitely want to do your best to minimize your consumption of those foods. Not only do they increase risk of Alzheimer's disease, new research shows, but they can have a negative impact on your cognitive performance. They can negatively potentially impact metabolic health and the like. And these are the foods that are shelf stable. They tend to be dilute of protein. They tend to be nutrient sparse, highly calorie dense. They tend to have that characteristic known as hyperpalatability, which means you typically, have a lot of trouble moderating your consumption of those foods. We're all guilty of it. That's how they're engineered. And so I think you're better off minimizing those. And then, so what do you replace them with? Well, whole foods. And there's a lot of debate now. We live in the era of the diet wars, particularly on social media. Low carb, low fat. Should I be carnivore? Should I be vegan? The lower rung of my food pyramid is essentially just prioritize whole foods. And then we can get into the specifics. If you're prioritizing whole foods, you're typically one step ahead of everybody else. To be quite honest today. I mean, 60% of the calories that your average American consumes comes from, ultra-processed foods for children. That proportion is even higher. It's about 70%, and certain demographics are even higher than that. So whole foods. And then I am definitely pro-omnivore. So I take the stance, and it's a data-backed stance, that animal source foods are of crucial importance to the brain, as are plant-based foods. So both. I'm a huge fan of foods like grass-fed, grass-finished red meat, eggs, wild fatty fish. If you can't afford wild, farmed is fine. It still provides an incredible source of omega-3 fatty acids. And if you can't afford grass-fed, grass-finished beef, or the most pristine and expensive eggs in the supermarket, worry not, because any egg is a cognitive multivitamin. Red meat is a great source of protein, dietary creatine, other micronutrients that we know are crucial to the brain. And we are starting to see now that higher protein intake not only increases healthy aging, the odds that you're going to age well, but is associated with less amyloid buildup in the brain, which Dr. Amen can speak to. Amyloid beta plaque is this pathological feature associated with Alzheimer's disease and other neurodegenerative conditions. And then on the plant side of the spectrum, I think there's no arguing that dark leafy greens are super important from the standpoint of brain health. We have lots of data on this. We have lots of biological plausibility indicating that carotenoids and fiber and vitamins like folate, which are abundant in dark leafy greens, are very important to brain health. I think fruit is incredible. There are a number of fruits that I like to prioritize for optimal brain performance. Avocado is actually a fruit, and there's data suggesting that avocado consumers compared to non-consumers, there was one study, or I believe it was a meta-analysis, that found that across every single tested cognitive domain, avocado consumers performed better than non-consumers, and that included guacamole. So when they ask you,
"Oh, come on, yes,
if you mind that it's extra for the guac," I say it's an investment worth making.